In the orbiting halls of the Galactic Concord Academy, where dozens of alien species study together, one mistranslated sentence nearly destroys an alliance. A crowded xenobiology lab falls silent as a towering Zerani female cadet turns to the shy human boy beside her and, with absolute seriousness, asks, "Are you going to mate with me now?" Beakers clatter. Students gasp. A human blushes crimson. And by the end of the day, the entire orbital station believes Earth has attempted a diplomatic scandal. But the truth? One glitch in a translation device, and one lonely human nerd who suddenly becomes the center of an interstellar political war. If you believe humans can rise in any galaxy, hit subscribe. Your support helps this story universe grow. Elias Cade had always believed silence was a shield. It protected him back home on Earth, kept him invisible in crowded classrooms, and softened the sting of standing alone. But here, in the Galactic Concord Academy, a colossal orbital ring station circling Tau Ceti Prime, silence only amplified how small he felt. Thousands of species filled the luminous halls, their colors and shapes dazzling to the eye. Humans were a rare sight among them, and he sensed every passing gaze asking the same unspoken question, "What is that fragile creature doing here?" He adjusted the strap of his datapad case and stepped into Xenobiology Lab 3. The circular room shimmered with floating holopanels, rotating anatomical models of species from 10 worlds, and translation nodes humming above each workstation. Elias slid into an empty seat, always choosing one slightly away from the center. It allowed him to observe without being observed. At least that's what he hoped. A heavy shadow fell across his desk. "You are Elias Cade, yes?" The voice was sharp but curious. He looked up and froze. A Zerani female stood over him. Tall, silver-skinned, eyes glowing like molten gold, muscle lines etched beneath ceremonial training armor. Zerani warriors were known across the galaxy for strength and blunt speech. Humans tended to avoid them. Elias definitely did. I'm Elias," he managed. She tilted her head, studying him with a scientist's precision. "I am Zira. I read your paper on mammalian cellular regeneration. Humans are unusual." Elias felt his cheeks warm. "Thank you. That was just coursework." "For you perhaps," she replied. "For many it was impressive." He blinked. A Zerani compliment? That alone made the morning surreal. Their instructor, Professor Relkos, entered and activated the central hologram. "Today," he announced, "mixed species pairs will analyze reproductive cellular matrices. Choose a partner." Elias stiffened. This was the moment he dreaded, forced collaboration. Students moved instantly. The air buzzed with conversation and scraping chairs. He waited, ready to work alone, grateful that no one would. A metallic hand tapped his desk. "You will pair with me," Zira declared. His heart thudded. "Are you sure?" "Yes. I wish to study human biology directly." He hoped she meant academically. They moved to a shared console. Elias activated the human tissue model. Zira pulled up the Zerani equivalent beside it. The comparison was startling. Zerani cells glowed with crystalline architecture, far more complex than human structures. "Your species regenerates slowly," she observed. "We evolved for endurance, not rapid healing," he explained. "I see." She leaned closer. "Your vulnerability is fascinating." Elias wasn't sure that was a compliment, but he appreciated the interest. For once, someone wasn't dismissing him. As they compared segmentation structures, Zira frowned at her translation node. The device flickered, its holographic display dimming as it recalibrated. She adjusted the settings, muttering in Zerani. Elias tried not to stare at the intricate markings along her jawline, rank sigils indicating noble lineage. Suddenly, Zira's eyes brightened. "Human Elias, I require clarification about your reproductive cycle." Elias blinked. Okay." She stepped closer, the translation node finally stabilizing. "Tell me, she said loudly enough for half the lab to hear. "Are you going to mate with me?" Every sound in the room died. A beaker hit the floor. Someone choked. A Xari student's frills turned neon blue in shock. Elias felt like gravity had doubled. "A mate, what?" he whispered. Zira waited expectantly, unaware of the explosion she had triggered. His mind raced. She can't mean what humans mean. She must be asking something scientific. This is a translation glitch. Please let this be a glitch. But the stares burning into him said no one believed that. Professor Relkos coughed hard enough to glitch the audio feed. "Cadet Zira, that is an inappropriate question for." "Inappropriate?" she asked, confused. "It is a direct inquiry. Humans are private, but this is essential data. Does he intend?" "Zira," Elias hissed. "That question is extremely personal for humans." Her eyes widened. "Truly? But the Zirani term Tarketh translates as..." "It translated wrong," he whispered, wishing he could vanish. Laughter broke out across the lab. Not cruel at first, but bewildered. Then Caleb Vrax arrived. The senior warrior cadet pushed through the crowd, armor clinking, expression predatory. "Well," he drawled, "the human makes bold proposals. Or perhaps he cannot control himself around superior beings." Elias's stomach nodded. Kaler was everything he feared in a Zirani: powerful, disciplined, dismissive of weaker species, especially humans. Zira stepped forward. "Elias made no proposal. I was the one asking." Kaler smirked. "And why would you degrade yourself with such curiosity?" "It was academic," she insisted. "Or desperate," Kaler said. "You always did obsess over strange creatures." Heat flared under Elias's skin. He wasn't angry often, but humiliation had a way of igniting something deep. "I didn't do anything," he said quietly. Kaler leaned close, voice dropping to a threat. "You disgrace our academy by being here." Zira's claws tightened. "Enough, Kaler." But the damage was done. Rumors spread even before class ended. Elias heard whispers as he packed his datapad. Humans mate publicly? Did he accept her proposal? Is this a challenge ritual? He wanted to correct them, explain everything, but every attempt felt like sinking deeper into embarrassment. He hurried out, pulse pounding, and ducked into an empty corridor. Cool artificial air filled the hallway, but his face burned. He had survived years of isolation on Earth, but this was worse. Being invisible was painful, being misrepresented was unbearable. Footsteps approached. Zira appeared, expression troubled. "I have erred," she said. "Your species interprets that question differently." "Yes," he replied, forcing calm. "Very differently. I intended scientific inquiry. Our reproduction cycle is public knowledge among Zirani. Privacy norms differ." "I figured," he said softly. "It's okay. Just unexpected." Zira bowed slightly. "I apologize. I will correct the misunderstanding." Before Elias could respond, his datapad chimed. Acadie notice. Student Elias Cade mandatory review session. Report within 1 cycle. His breath caught. "Already?" Zira murmured. "This escalates too fast." Elias stared at the summons. His hands trembled. "What have we started?" Zira looked toward the towering windows, where the stars drifted by in cold silence. "A misunderstanding," she said. "But one that our academy and our people may not ignore." And for the first time, Elias realized this wasn't merely embarrassment. It was the beginning of something far larger. Elias sat outside the administrative chamber, hands clasped so tightly his knuckles showed white. The waiting area felt colder than the rest of the academy, as if the station itself sensed the tension. Students passing by slowed to stare at him, whispering behind claws, mandibles, or shimmering throat plates. He wanted to disappear into the wall. Instead, he kept his gaze on the floor tiles, tracing their patterns to steady himself. Zira stood beside him, motionless except for the slight twitch of her jawline sigils, a Zirani sign of agitation. The review will assess context, she said. I will present facts. You will not face consequences for something you did not do. Elias wished he shared her certainty. Zerani culture values strength, he murmured. People already assume I crossed a line. You did not, she replied firmly. And those who claim otherwise are ignorant. The chamber doors opened with a low hum. A synthetic voice announced, Cadet Elias Cade. Enter. Zira stayed outside per protocol, offering a slight nod before he stepped in. The chamber was semicircular, illuminated by pale blue light. 3 Academy officials sat behind a curved console, humanoid, Zerani, and Varelian, signifying interspecies neutrality. The holographic display above them flickered to life, showing the lab's incident report. Cadet Cade, said the human official, Administrator Lee, we are here to address concerns raised regarding inappropriate conduct during Xenobiology Lab 3. This is an inquiry, not a disciplinary hearing. Elias exhaled shakily. That distinction mattered. The Zerani official, Commander Sereth, narrowed her golden eyes. A question was asked publicly that, in your species' cultural framework, qualifies as intimate. Explain why this occurred. Elias swallowed. It was a translation malfunction. Zira intended a scientific question. The device interpreted it inaccurately. Did you at any point encourage such discussion? Commander Sereth asked. No, Elias said quickly. Did you reciprocate her inquiry? No. Absolutely not. The Varelian official tapped a translucent claw on the console. Your reaction was recorded. You appeared startled. That's because the translation was wrong, Elias replied. Humans treat those topics privately. The entire situation, he paused, choosing his words carefully, was a misunderstanding. Commander Sereth's gaze softened, though only slightly. We will review the device logs to confirm malfunction. Until then, you are not under sanction. Relief washed through him. But understand, she continued, interspecies misunderstandings can damage diplomatic stability. Humans and Zerani have a delicate alliance. Such incidents must be handled with precision. Elias nodded. I understand. The inquiry adjourned. As he stepped outside, Zira straightened. Results. For now I'm clear, he said. They'll check logs. She exhaled slowly. Good. But the tension on her face didn't fade. Elias noticed the way nearby Zerani cadets watched her with disapproval, muttering as they passed. Zira's jawline sigils dimmed, shame or frustration. People think you did something wrong? He asked quietly. They believe I compromised dignity, she said. Kaler spreads rumors. Elias felt a spark of anger. He's twisting everything. Yes, Zira said. And he will escalate. They walked through the corridor toward the central atrium. Overhead, luminous banners projected upcoming Academy event. Crowds filled the open space beneath the dome, where starlight refracted through massive crystalline panels. As soon as Elias stepped in, conversations halted. Hundreds of eyes turned. A few Ixari chittered. A Varen whispered, Is he the one? Elias's chest tightened. I can't be here. Zira placed a hand gently on his shoulder. We will go somewhere quieter. She guided him out of the atrium and through winding halls until they reached a secluded hollow garden, an artificial biopark used for study sessions and meditation. Holographic trees swayed without wind, their leaves glowing faintly. Elias sank onto a bench. I shouldn't have come to this academy. You are here because you earned it, Zira said. Your scholarship was based on exceptional merit. Merit doesn't matter when people see me as a joke. Zira studied him. Humans are cautious species. You avoid directness. But here, caution can appear like weakness. I'm aware, he said quietly. She sat beside him, armor humming softly. I asked that question because Zerani reproduction is openly discussed. Our biology is public information, taught from adolescence. Asking about mating cycles is routine. I did not foresee the translation error. I know, he said. I don't blame you. Her golden eyes softened. Yet you suffer consequences. Before Elias could respond, his datapad chimed again. A message blinked across the screen. Unverified media upload. You are tagged. With dread, he opened it. A viral post spread across the Academy network, a short clip of the lab incident. The caption read, "Human initiates mating ritual in classroom." The video deliberately began after Zira's question, starting instead with Elias's shocked expression. Omitted was any context. Added was dramatic background audio. Elias's throat tightened. Who did this? Kaler, Zira said instantly. Only he would distort facts so openly. Elias scrolled comments. Humans hide their intent. Is this aggression? Zirani should distance from them. His pulse raced. This will ruin everything. Zira stood abruptly. We must confront Kaler. No, Elias said. If we challenge him publicly, he'll twist it further. He already twists it, she replied. He tarnishes your honor and mine. Elias met her gaze. There must be a better way. Zira hesitated, then nodded. Very well. We seek evidence. The translation node logs will clear you. But Elias knew evidence wasn't enough. Rumors spread faster than truth. When they left the Hollow Garden, Kaler and his entourage blocked the corridor. His armor gleamed under the ceiling lights, and his smirk held predatory amusement. Well, if it isn't the Academy's new sensation, Kaler said. Zira stepped forward. Cease your fabrications. Oh, Zira, Kaler mocked. You defend the humans so fiercely. How noble. Or is it something else? Elias forced himself to speak. Delete the video. Kaler leaned in. Why? Afraid your habits will be exposed. I did nothing, Elias said, voice steady despite trembling hands. But perception shapes truth, Kaler said. And perception is mine to command. Zira's claws extended. Your behavior dishonors Zirani values. Values evolve, Kaler replied, stepping closer. And humans do not belong here. Elias met his gaze. That's not your decision. Kaler's eyes narrowed. You think you can challenge me? No, Elias said. I think you fear what humans might become. For a moment, Kaler's expression flickered, anger, maybe surprise. Then he stepped back. This is only the beginning, he said. He walked away, leaving tension thick in the air. Zira turned to Elias. He will not stop. I know, Elias said. And as alarms signaled the next class cycle, Elias realized something chilling. This misunderstanding was no longer an accident. It was becoming a political weapon. Elias barely slept. Every time he closed his eyes, the viral clip replayed, out of context, mocking, reshaped into a weapon. By morning, he felt hollow. Yet he walked toward the Academy Forum with Zira beside him, her stride steady, armor plates catching the blue-white glow of the station's artificial dawn. Your posture is tense, she observed. I'm being targeted by half the Academy, he replied quietly. Tension feels appropriate. You are not alone, Zira said. I will speak for you. He wished that reassurance soothed him. Instead, it tightened the knot inside his chest. Defending him risked her position, her reputation, her future with the Zirani military academies. Still, she walked beside him without hesitation. The forum was already packed. Tiered seating rose in a wide circle around the central platform, where disputes of significance were debated. Today, the crowd pulsed with anticipation. Students from every species leaned forward, eager for spectacle. The viral clip had turned a misunderstanding into entertainment. Administrator Lee spotted Elias and gestured him forward. We will begin shortly, she said. The inquiry has escalated due to the spread of manipulated media. You will both testify. Will the actual translation logs be presented? Elias asked. Yes, Lee said. But understand, Kaler has petitioned for a formal Zirani discourse challenge. Zira stiffened. A trial of words? Lee nodded. If accepted, it becomes an honor-bound debate. Logic, truth, and rhetoric determine victory. Losing carries cultural consequences. Elias swallowed. For who? For whichever side is judged dishonorable, Lee said. Zira lowered her voice. Kaler intends to force you into a cultural arena unfamiliar to your species. Elias felt cold. So he wants a public humiliation. And to shape the narrative, Zira said. If you lose, his lies become accepted truth. Before Elias could respond, drums echoed from the upper tier. Zirani warriors entered in ceremonial formation, led by Kaler. The crowd murmured with excitement. Kaler smiled as he approached. The human arrives. Good. I feared you would hide. Elias forced calm. I have nothing to hide. Excellent, Kaler said. Then accept my challenge. He raised a ceremonial speaker's gauntlet, its crystal nodes glowing. Zira stepped between them. This trial is unnecessary. The incident was accidental. Accidental? Kaler sneered. Then let the human defend himself in open discourse. Administrator Lee addressed Elias. Participation is not mandatory. But refusal may be interpreted as guilt. Elias understood. He could walk away, protect his dignity, avoid humiliation, but doing so would cement every rumor as truth. Humans would be branded deceptive, weak, unworthy of standing among greater species. I accept, he said. Zira turned to him sharply. Elias. I won't let him dictate who humans are, Elias said softly. Kaler clasped the gauntlet to the platform node. Very well. The trial begins. The central floor lit with a circular grid. Ancient Zirani symbols glowed along its edge. Elias stepped onto the platform opposite Kaler. Every eye fixed upon them. Kaler spoke first. Honored Assembly, we examine the conduct of Elias Cade, a human who violated interspecies decorum by provoking a Zirani cadet during academic study. Elias clenched his teeth. The lie was elegant, crafted to sound plausible. Kaler continued, Our culture prizes clarity. Yet this human concealed intent behind feigned surprise. He then influenced Cadet Zira to defend him irrationally. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Elias waited for his cue. The platform symbols pulsed, granting him speaking right. I did not provoke anyone, Elias said. The video you spread omits context. Zira's question came from scientific curiosity but was mistranslated. The device logs prove this. Kaler raised a hand. Humans claim innocence through excuses. How convenient that their technology fails whenever convenient. Murmurs followed. Elias forced steady breathing. Translation nodes are Academy issued. Malfunction is documented. Kaler's eyes narrowed. Even if the device erred, humans are responsible for their reactions. Your expression alone suggested guilt. Elias blinked. My reaction? You mean shock? Any species would react to a mistranslated intimate question. Laughter spread. Some sympathetic. Some mocking. Kaler stepped forward. Shock, perhaps. But rumors say you sought private interaction with Zira afterward. Zira stood abruptly. Enough. I spoke with Elias to clarify cultural misunderstandings. Kaler smirked. So you admit meeting him privately? Zira glared. To protect truth. Kaler addressed the assembly. See how she defies her lineage? See how humans erode discipline. Elias felt something inside break. He stepped forward, voice rising with conviction. Stop twisting everything. Zira defended me because she values honesty. You undermine it because you fear losing control of your narrative. A hush fell. Kaler's eyes burned. You presume much, human. Elias continued. You edited that video. You started rumors. You want tension between our species. Why? To elevate yourself? Or because peace threatens your status? The crowd stirred. Some nodded. Kaler's claws flexed. You dare insult me in my own cultural arena? It's not an insult, Elias said. It's the truth. The platform shifted, signaling rhetorical escalation. Now testimony required evidence. Administrator Lee projected the translation logs. The display showed Zira's original question in Zirani biological terminology, correctly classified as academic. The malfunction was obvious. Gasps erupted. Zira stepped onto the platform edge, granted temporary speaking rights. My question was clinical. I misunderstood human boundaries. Elias did not provoke anything. Kaler stiffened. The Varelian official spoke from the judge's circle. Kaler, do you dispute these logs? Kaler's voice wavered. Logs can be altered. Elias seized the moment. Yet you circulated edited footage. Should we believe you over verifiable data? The crowd erupted again, this time less hostile. Kaler took one step forward, furious. You twist words well, human. It's called truth, Elias replied. Something you abandoned. The symbols pulsed, judgment soon. Kaler, losing composure, snapped. Humans are weak. You don't belong here. Elias answered firmly. Strength isn't domination. It's integrity. It's courage to bridge cultures despite fear. Humans may be new, but we learn fast. We face humiliation, adapt, and rise. That is our strength. Silence blanketed the forum. Finally, the platform dimmed. Verdict time. The Varelian judge spoke. Evidence shows Cadet Elias Cade is not at fault. Cadet Zira acted academically. Fault lies in the deliberate manipulation of media. All eyes turned to Kaler. Commander Sarath rose. Kaler, you dishonored Zirani principles of clarity and truth. You face corrective sanction. Kaler's expression twisted with fury, but he bowed stiffly. Elias felt his knees weaken with relief. Zira stepped to his side, her presence warm, steady. You spoke well, she said quietly. Thanks to you, he replied. The crowd dispersed slowly, whispering now with respect rather than mockery. Elias had survived, but more than that, he had been heard. When the forum finally emptied, Elias remained on the platform, the warm glow of the verdict settling over him like sunlight breaking through a storm. His legs trembled, not from fear anymore, but from the release of tension he'd carried for days. Zira stood at his side, her armor humming with a calm steadiness that grounded him. You spoke with conviction, she said. Your words struck truth. Elias let out a slow breath. I didn't know if anyone would believe me. They believed, Zira said. Because honesty carries weight, even across species. Around them, Academy technicians restored the chamber, dimming the ceremonial symbols and retracting the platform grid. Administrator Lee approached, her expression warm with restrained pride. Cadet Cade, she said, you handled today's trial with remarkable clarity. You upheld not only your dignity, but your species' integrity. Elias rubbed the back of his neck. I didn't plan on representing all humans. Sometimes, Lee replied, circumstance chooses us. Commander Sarath stood behind her, imposing yet composed. Zirani leadership recognizes the truth of your testimony. Kaler's sanction will be addressed within our hierarchy. Her gaze softened a fraction as she faced Zira. Your defense of an ally reflects well on your character, Cadet. You acted with honor. Zira bowed. I did what truth required. Sarath nodded once, then departed, her armor echoing through the hall. Lee followed soon after, leaving the two alone. Elias stepped off the platform and leaned against the railing overlooking the atrium below. Students milled through the open space, some glancing his way, not with suspicion this time, but with curiosity, even respect. The shift felt surreal. I should feel relieved, he murmured. But my mind is buzzing. That is normal after conflict, Zira said. She joined him at the railing, her height giving her a broader view of the crowd. Your species handled adversity well. My species. Elias chuckled. You talk like I represent all 8 billion of us. In today's trial you did, she replied. He didn't know how to respond to that. Humility tugged him one way, gratitude another. What anchored him was the realization that Zira's presence had become something he relied on, steady, consistent, unshaken by social pressure. "What happens now?" he asked. "Now," Zira said, "truth propagates. The Academy will rescind false rumors. The logs will invalidate distorted narrative. Kaler's influence weakens." "And you?" Elias asked. "Won't you face pressure for defending me?" "I will," Zira said plainly. "But honor outweighs social cost. I don't want you to suffer because of me." Zira turned to him, golden eyes bright. "Do not confuse blame with consequence. I chose my path." Elias swallowed softly. "Thank you. For everything." She inclined her head. "We share responsibility for maintaining clarity. Our collaboration is not over." They walked out of the forum together, the echo of their steps fading behind them. As they entered the corridor, a group of mixed species students approached. Elias braced himself instinctively. A Xari student stepped forward. "Human Elias," she chirped, frills glowing. "Your argument was impressive." Averin added, "Your logic was strong. You defended your honor with resilience." Another murmured, "Humans adapt quickly." Elias blinked in surprise. Thanks." "Really?" They dispersed with polite nods. Elias watched them, heartbeat unsteady. Admiration felt far stranger than humiliation. Zira observed him with mild amusement. "You see? Respect emerges." "Feels strange," he admitted. "Good strange." They walked toward the central lift, heading to the observation deck, Zira's suggestion. When they arrived, the expansive view of Tau Ceti Prime spread before them. The planet's pale oceans reflected starlight, and the station's luminous ring curved elegantly around the horizon. Elias pressed a hand to the transparent barrier. "I used to dream of places like this," he said quietly. "But dreaming and belonging aren't the same." "You belong," Zira said. "Today proved that." "I didn't change who I am," he said. "Precisely," she replied. "That is your strength." A soft silence settled between them. Not uncomfortable, simply present. Elias breathed deeply, letting the planet's glow ease the knot inside him. After a moment, Zira spoke. "When I first approached you in the lab, I sought only biological data. I did not expect crossing cultural boundaries to reveal so much." Elias smiled. "I didn't expect any of this either. Honestly, before today, I just wanted to get through classes unnoticed." "Unnoticed?" Zira raised a brow. "You underestimate yourself." He laughed. "Not anymore, I guess." Zira stepped closer, her voice thoughtful. "You showed courage. You faced someone larger, stronger, and socially dominant, and prevailed through intellect. Many species mistake physical power for true power. Today, you demonstrated otherwise." "That's kind of the core of being human," Elias said. "We're not the strongest. We just keep trying." "And adapting," Zira added. "Adaptation is resilience." Elias looked up at her. "You've defended me more than I deserved." She shook her head. "Deserving is irrelevant. Truth guided my actions." He nodded quietly. "Still means something to me." Her expression softened, the gold of her eyes reflecting the nebula beyond the glass. "Our collaboration should continue," she said. "There is more to learn, about biology, culture, and the ways our species can coexist." "I'd like that," Elias said. A chime echoed in the deck, signaling an incoming message. Elias checked his datapad. Academy memo. Human Zirani Cultural Council requests student representative. Candidate, Elias Cade. His breath caught. "They want me to represent humans?" Zira's jawline sigils brightened faintly. "You proved your capability. Diplomacy requires individuals who understand nuance. You demonstrated that skill." Elias stared at the memo. "This is huge." "Accept," Zira said. "Your perspective matters." Elias tapped the confirmation. As the notification flashed green, he felt something shift inside him, a sense of grounding he'd never had before. Not because he had won a trial, but because he had faced something terrifying and refused to collapse beneath it. He turned to Zira. "We started this whole mess by accident." "True," she said, a hint of humor in her voice. "But we resolved it through choice. And maybe," he added, "we can turn it into something meaningful." "We will," Zira said. Elias looked out at Tau Ceti Prime, feeling for the first time that the galaxy wasn't an overwhelming unknown, but an open horizon, and humanity, underestimated for so long, had just taken one step forward.